Good evening. This is Bronson's By Any Means Necessary fantasy football talk for Saturday, December 4th. I'm going to get my wide receiver spikes and yikes and my running back spikes and yikes in here before the games tomorrow. I intended to do this earlier between jobs, but my phone was acting real dumb. Like I was in a data blackout or something. I don't know what the hell was going on. It was really frustrating. So I wasn't able to do that, and my phone has been dead. Also, I've noticed that when I don't have data, my phone when I can't do jack shit on my phone, the battery dies faster. So that's a great development. I really need a new phone anyway. This thing is so cracked. I dropped it when I was flying out to California. My last trip on the Portland airport carpet, the famous Portland airport carpet. I think it got dropped just right, that it just completely just shattered my screen, really. So it's like I got cracks halfway down here on the top. It's bad. I thought it was upgrade time because I'm on my phone. I'm on my mom's phone plan, and it's been 2 years, but apparently it's not upgrade time. I don't know. I gotta go in there on Monday and see what my options are. And but excuse me, before I get into the spikes and yikes real quick, I want to talk about something that happened to me at work today. This will be Bronson's what was I gonna call it? Bronson cares too much, and it causes problems for him in his life. This is today's story. So at work, so backstory, one of my restaurants had its own ice machine up in the restaurant. We recently pulled it out for several reasons. Reason one is it was taking up space. Okay, it's a small restaurant, not a lot of space. My boss decided to take it out for that reason, taking up space. Second reason, it wasn't working well. It wasn't making ice fast enough to keep up with the demand. And third reason is it was really dirty under there. They wanted to be able to clean it. They wanted it to be able to get clean and stay clean, because nobody was ever cleaning under it while it was in there. So now it's downstairs. It's not plugged in. It's not working. And so we're using the big ice machine that we have downstairs to provide ice to all the restaurants. And surprise, surprise, the one ice machine's not keeping up with the demand for all three restaurants. So I because I care about my job, because I care about the people I'm dating, I care about my job. I want to do the best possible job that I can, and all that stuff. I moved this 200 plus pound ice machine that's on. It's not on wheels. It has four legs, four perfectly good legs that, not super mobile legs, but that you can move the machine on it. But someone decided to put like four little pieces of wood underneath the legs. I don't understand why they don't keep it stable, and it makes it even harder to move. So I have slowly walked this thing from the hallway where we had it sitting into one of my storerooms. It took about a half hour. Did it by myself, no help. There's no one there to help me. I was by myself today. I've been by myself for the last 3 days. It gave me quite the workout. It was very frustrating, very slow going. And as I was trying to push it against the wall, finally got it against the wall, I realized the cord was too short. So I went searching for a freaking extension cord or a surge protector to plug this thing in to get so it would reach the outlet, right? So I'm plugging it in, having a hell of a time getting this 200 plus pound ice machine up against the wall because of these stupid wood pegs on the leg. Okay, so finally someone, one of the dishwashers, was coming down to get the trash thing, and he saw me and he helped me get it against the wall and plug it in. And then he's like, "Oh, the ice machine's not gonna work, right? Because it's not plugged into the water." I was like, "Oh no, I had no idea. I did not know that. I didn't realize the ice machine had to be plugged into a water source to make ice. That didn't even occur to me. I guess I'm an idiot." I feel like a dipshit now. All that useless work. That's what you get for being proactive. So yeah, the ice machine's still sitting there plugged in. I'm not moving it again until I get some help. It's just ridiculous. It was just ridiculous, man. I feel so stupid. Anyways, let's move on to the wide receivers. Wide receivers I'm yiking this week. I've got eight total. So 4 that I dislike or yike, and 4 that I am spiking. The wide receivers that I'm yiking this week, some guys in the top 25 who I think are not going to live up to the projections. Starting with Hunter Renfrow of the Raiders against the Washington football team. He's at 15. Hunter Renfrow has turned into a weekly flex play option. Maybe possibly a low end wide receiver 2. Last week he was a wide receiver 2. But I don't know. I don't trust him as a top 15 wide receiver, even against a bad Washington football team defense. And he just hasn't really been productive enough over the course of this season, despite all the opportunity that he has had to warrant me starting him as anything more than a flex play. Next, we got DK Metcalf at 16 versus San Francisco. DK Metcalf has been awful for the last 3 weeks. I don't anticipate that changing this week. Last week, man, I needed like 12 points from him last week to get me a win. He got me 2. So, yeah, he definitely was pretty useless last week. And so it's really hard to have him inside the top 20 this week. DeAndre Hopkins at 17 is against the Bears. He's still questionable as well. I don't know if he's going to play or not at this point on late Saturday night. And shit, that reminds me, I need to set my lineups. Good thing I don't work tomorrow. I'll have all the time in the world in the morning to take care of that, because I'm not going to stay up tonight and do it. It's already 10 o'clock. That's past my bedtime these days. But yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, 17. DeAndre Hopkins has been pretty worthless this year, really. Sure, he was getting a lot of touchdowns early on in the year. That was keeping him in the conversation as a flex play, but his volume and his catches were so low, and so it was so bad. If he hadn't gotten those touchdowns, he would have been unownable, really. And I don't know if I trust him after all the time that he's missed to just step on the field and just be a wide receiver 2 again. This just isn't looking. This is looking like a lost year for him. And lastly, Chase Claypool of the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Ravens. He's at 23 for the week. I know that's like a high-end flex play or a wide receiver 3 in a Yahoo league where you start 3 wide receivers, but I don't trust Chase Claypool as at 23. That's like a pretty much like a solid flex play or solid wide receiver 3. I don't Chase Claypool's kind of risky right now. Ben Roethlisberger is looking terrible. He's looking like he doesn't even belong in the NFL right now. Chase Claypool is suffering the most from that because Chase Claypool is more of a deep target, more of a big play threat, Deshaun Jackson type. And so he needs a quarterback who's going to be able to get him the ball. Whereas Deontay Johnson, the other Pittsburgh wide receiver, is much more, a closer to the line of scrimmage slot guy who can move around the field and gets yards after the catch, stuff like that. Deontay Johnson is able, at this stage of his career, to create opportunities for himself, whereas Chase Claypool needs a little bit more help. He's very volatile, very risky. I don't have him in my top 25 for the week. I don't even know if I would have him in my top 30. Moving on to I'm already 10 minutes in. Okay, whatever. Just focus on this. Spiking, wide receiver spiking 4. Starting with Van Jefferson at 26 against the Jaguars. I think this is going to be a Van Jefferson week. I think the Rams are going to come out firing on all cylinders here. Van Jefferson is going to have a big day. Jerry Jeudy of the Broncos against the Chiefs at 27. I just think the Broncos are going to have to throw the ball to keep up with the Chiefs' high-octane offense, and I think that's going to lead to Jerry Jeudy, who's already dominating the target since he's come back from injury. I think this is going to be a big day for Jerry Jeudy. He's inside my top 20 for the week. Russell Gage of the Falcons against the Buccaneers at 33. Tampa Bay's secondary is very, very beatable. If there's a weakness on the Tampa Bay roster, it's the secondary. Russell Gage is the de facto number one guy, even though really I think Kyle Pitts is the number one guy, and we all know Calvin Ridley's the number one guy when he's playing. But as for the wide receiver position, Russell Gage is the guy, and so he's definitely I got him as a flex play, definitely top 30, probably even top 25 for me. I would be starting Russell Gage over guys like Chase Claypool this week for sure. And lastly, we got Kendrick Bourne, Portland's very own Kendrick Bourne against the Bills. He's at 34 for the week. I actually like both the New England wide receivers in this game. I just like Kendrick Bourne a little more because there's no Tre'Davious White. So the Bills are going to be starting some new corners out there, and Bill Belichick is going to game plan to kind of expose them as much as he can. And so Jacoby Myers is going to do his thing. He's going to get a lot of targets, a lot of catches, hopefully get some yardage, maybe a touchdown. We know Jacoby Myers has thrown for more touchdown passes than he's caught in his career, which is very odd for a wide receiver, but Jacoby Myers is going to do his thing. He's not really anybody that we need to worry about. But Kendrick Bourne is a guy who's been coming on lately. His chemistry with Mac Jones is really high, really good right now. So I like Kendrick Bourne as a top 30 play for the week as well. Moving on to the running backs. The running backs that I am spiking this week. Yikes, sorry. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. This week feels like it's been like 2 months. I feel like I need a vacation again. So running backs that I'm yiking. Saquon Barkley of the Giants, number 13 against the Dolphins. Saquon Barkley, as I mentioned last week, is not a top 20 wide receiver. Running back right now. Honestly, he's probably not even really a flex play. He's just really not doing anything, and the Giants' offense is not helping him out any because it's so bad. And the Giants' wide receivers being hurt all the time isn't helping anything either. The Giants are just a mess right now, and I don't really think it's Joe Judge's fault. I know Joe Judge is kind of his job maybe on the line. I don't know if he deserves that yet. I think the Giants need to give him another year. But anyway, Saquon Barkley is not someone I would be. I don't think I'd be starting him at all this week. I think he's outside the top 25 for me. Next, we got Myles Gaskin again. And he's at 17 again for the week. I know he had a decent week last week. That's nice to see, but I don't see it all the time. Like, we need to see we need to see him doing something with his touches and his volume on a weekly basis. Myles Gaskin is like David Montgomery used to be, or David Montgomery in his rookie year, where he was getting all those touches, all that volume, and he was doing absolutely nothing. Myles Gaskin is that. So I don't think he's turned the corner. He's had a couple of decent weeks this season, but other than those 2 weeks, he's been awful. And I don't think that he's going to be a top 20 running back against the Giants this week either. Moving on, Miles Sanders at 20 against the Jets. I understand that Jordan Howard is out. Boston Scott may not play. Jalen Hurts also may not play. Actually, Jalen Hurts has officially been ruled out. It will be the Gardner Minshew show. for the Eagles tomorrow. Those of you who are not aware, you might want to find an alternative for Jalen Hurts this week. Despite all that, Miles Sanders is not a top 20 play because the Eagles just don't like him. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they even still have him on the roster, but they're not going to give him. He's not going to get more work. This is going to be Kenneth Gainwell is going to be the beneficiary this week, most likely, not Miles Sanders. It's never Miles Sanders, and even against the Jets, even despite all that, Miles Sanders is still just a flex play for me. He is in my top 25. He's a high-end flex play for me, but not top 20. He's not a top 20 running back. And lastly, Devin Singletary at 21 versus the Patriots. For whatever reason, Singletary is kind of getting phased out of this offense. Feels like, even though I don't honestly, I don't have any. I don't know what the Bills are doing with their running backs. I feel like Zach Moss has been the best running back option, but he's been a healthy scratch twice now, randomly this season. I don't know. I don't trust Devin Singletary. The Bills running backs, low key, are turning into kind of like what the Patriots always are, what the 49ers have been under Kyle Shanahan. It's just a mess. Better left avoided. I don't like Devin Singletary as a high-end flex this week. He's outside my top 30. Now, moving on to the running backs that I'm spiking. I have 5, but one of them is contingent on whether he actually plays. We're going to start with Boston Scott at 26 against the Jets. It's possible he misses this game, but if he plays, I think he's going to be the running back that's going to get the most work, because that's just the way the Eagles are. The Eagles seem to trust Boston Scott a lot more than they trust Miles Sanders. They give Boston Scott the high leverage touches, whereas Miles Sanders' touches are just more empty calories. And so, sorry, I don't know what that is, because the only thing I've eaten in the last few hours is ice cream. That was something chunky. Ice cream is creamy. And so if Boston Scott does play, he's got a very nice, enticing matchup against the Jets. Matt Breida at 29, the other Bills running back versus the Patriots. Now, we saw Matt Breida get the majority of the touches last week. That could have been because of game script. The Bills were blowing the Saints out. Or it could be a sign that Matt Breida is healthy, that the Bills trust Matt Breida more. So if there is a running back in the Bills to trust right now, which there isn't, but if you think that a Bills running back is worth your trust right now, Matt Breida seems like the safe choice. 29 seems a little bit low. I would put him more in the mid-20s, just because of what we saw last week. Next, a few guys who probably won't see a whole lot of work, but I want to highlight them anyways, just because I think that this could be the week where we see a breakout of sorts. Starting with Kenny Nwangwu of the Vikings at the Lions. He's at 43. He's going to be the backup running back this week with Madison as the starter with Dalvin Cook out. And we know the guy has massive big play potential. He's one of the best kick returners in the NFL. He's one of the fastest players in the NFL. If the Vikings offense, which I don't trust Mike Zimmer or Clint Kubiak to use him right, but if they can use him right, he could be he could be the Vikings version of what the Bears hoped Tarek Cohen would be, but the Bears offense just has never been good enough to be that kind of player. But Kenny Nwangwu has a lot of potential, and in this week he's going to get some touches, and even if it's 5 touches, they could all be massive gains, massive plays, kind of like what Tony Pollard did for the Cowboys on Thursday. Jarrett Patterson of the Redskins, Washington football team, is going to be the backup for the Washington football team this week with J.D. McKissic out. I think they still want to kind of limit Antonio Gibson's touches because he is dealing with a stress fracture. And so Jarrett Patterson should be the beneficiary of that. He may even see the same kind of high leverage work in the passing game that J.D. McKissic has been getting. So Jarrett Patterson could be a very good, sneaky, good flex play for you. He's in my top 30 for the week. And lastly, Godwin, I didn't write his first name, Godwin Igwabuki and Jamar Jefferson, from Oregon State. A couple of guys, intriguing backup running backs for the Lions. They will see some work with DeAndre Swift out. Jamar Jefferson did score a touchdown a couple of weeks ago against Pittsburgh in the game that the only game this year that the Lions didn't lose. So I always thought he was a pretty good running back when he was here in Corvallis. So it's nice. It'll be nice to see him get his opportunity. I don't know much about Godwin Igwabuki, but I think he's going to be. I think he's more of a pass catching kind of guy, so a third down kind of guy. He could see some of, or a lot of, the targets that used to go to DeAndre Swift. Although I do think it's going to be a pretty big day for Jamal Williams. I think that there is an opportunity for those two guys who are ranked at 41 and 49 for the week to vastly exceed the projections for them as well. So if you're in a deeper league or you are very desperate for some running backs for the week, those two guys are probably available for you. All right, I'm at 22 minutes. This has been it's been an experience. I think this is my longest video. I didn't intend for it to be this long. I never intend for my videos to be this long. They just end up that way. So thanks for watching. Thanks for following. Good luck tomorrow. And I will probably be going to bed here soon, and I will have to get up a couple hours before the game. And well, I was planning on getting up fairly early tomorrow anyway. It's not like sleeping in for me is now it's like 7, 8 a.m. So I'll be up. The games don't start till 10. I'll have plenty of time to set my lineups tomorrow. And this video, who knows, this video may not even post before the games start tomorrow, because sometimes my videos like to take 13, 14 hours to post, and it's 10 p.m. here. So if it takes 13, 14 hours to post, this video will then become meaningless. And but whatever. I enjoyed doing it. So yeah, peace, love, and nacho fries, and hang loose.